Let's talk about the spiritual evolution of humankind, about the descension and ascension cycles. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sylvia Salow and I help light workers and starseeds to remember who they are. And in this video I want to talk about how did we happen to exist in those dense physical bodies in the third dimension. We need to start remembering our past, because it will help us to remember our future. The past and future exist simultaneously, but it's almost like as if you imagine having an infinite amount of pictures. Each picture represents a different moment, different situation, different teaching, and we have access to all those pictures at once. But for us to correctly orientate ourselves and to know when we are headed in the future or the past, we have to understand where we came from. And so the things I'm sharing in this video mostly comes from my own memory, or from the collective memory, should I say. So I trace back a collective energy. I go all the way, move through all those layers to see where it started and then see how it changed and twisted, and then it appeared like in some emotion that we have, or how did we appear in a physical body. We are coming from the universal logos. As we were moving down through different dimensions, in every dimension we have developed a different aspect of ourselves. With the most recent ones, we have developed the soul. There was a time before the soul existed. We have developed the mind. We developed the emotional body. And we developed the physical body. This is a natural evolution. It's that descension, because we are moving down from what we would consider to be like the pure light. And we are making that light, we are forming it into matter more and more. And then eventually everything that we see and have around us is made of matter. It's that light trapped in that matter. And so that spiritual evolution of humankind happened through different stages. Now, this is not from my personal memory, but this is what I have read in ancient Hindu scripts, like when I was very young. Therefore, I don't remember where exactly, but there are 7 stages of development. And those 7 stages, they each focus us to develop a different aspect of ourselves, to learn new lessons, to integrate some new kind of teaching, and to move into that new stage. There are 7 in total. When we reach the 7th one, we are done. Now, currently, according to that script, we are in the 5th one. So this is that post-Atlantean stage of development. And so, if we just start at Lemuria, in Lemurian times we have etheric bodies, meaning you could see through those bodies. They were not physical. They were translucent. Those bodies were more like there was much bigger unity of the feminine and masculine energy at the beginning of that Lemurian stage of development, of that epoch. And then slowly we were moving into the Atlantean one, where we were really mastering the mind. And we were also developing our personality and the ego. Because we were developing the personality and the ego, that of course started pulling us lower into even a lower dimension. So we continued descending, we continued moving further away from that source and becoming more material. With every movement, every step down, we lost certain memories. We lost certain spectrum of light. We became more materialistic. And now in this current stage where we are, this is where we are developing our intellect. And so in this stage, we are also experiencing spirituality oftentimes through the mind, through the intellect. But we have to remember that our ancestors, and of course us in different incarnations, we were not so materialistic as we are now. So for our ancestors, it was so much more natural and easier to feel and be connected to spirit. They didn't have to try hard. They didn't have to analyze it, rationalize it, and so on. They didn't have to write books about it. They were naturally more connected. And it's okay, it's a part of that cycle. One could think that there was some mistake and we just keep falling and falling and falling, but this is a natural evolution. We are meant to develop all those different bodies, including the physical body. And then, God willing, and if we choose it, we can start ascending again. So there's a descension, and then there's the ascension pathway. Now, there are like the major descension stream, which I see it like the golden stream of descension. It's aligned with Christ consciousness. And then there's the major ascension stream, also aligned with Christ consciousness. And as we are moving alongside those two streams, it's all well, it's a part of the divine plan. We may not have to like it, we may forget, but it is something we sign up for. Our ancestors, they were more spiritual. So that's why it may be sometimes confusing when you remember ancient Egypt, Atlantis, Lemuria. You may feel confused, you might ask yourself like, what happened? How come that now I have to remember something I already knew? How come that what I see in my visions, in my memories, seem to be way more spiritual than what we have now? It's because we were descending. We were literally like coming down in that consciousness. And that's why our ancestors were wiser. They actually were. I'm sorry to say it, but it is a fact. But we are also learning something they didn't learn. We are learning, we have new challenges, new potential. We are integrating new lessons that they didn't learn before. And so every stage of development is unique and it's perfect. It's meant to be the way it is. And the last thing I want to mention here, we are just entering a different phase where we are developing a new type of human, if you like. It's like a sub-race of that fifth stage of development. And this new one, many of you know very intimately. This is when human beings will have very developed psychic abilities. They will be able to like see into different dimensions, to astrally travel and so on. Which reminds me one more thing, in our time, we are actually mastering our astral bodies, meaning we have to overcome and understand our passions and desires. Because think about it, there are always two streams, and I will make another video shortly after this one on that topic alone. There's like the descension and ascension stream. And so what happens is that when we work with our desires, let's say, it's not like desires are good or desires are bad. We have to transmute them. So if we are just like stuck in that lower chakra desires, in that kind of animal body, then those desires will pull us down. That we will travel still lower. But when we elevate our desires and we truly connect with the higher heart chakra, in this moment, those desires, they became transpersonal, they become different, they are elevated. So we no longer, desire a new car just because I want to have a new car. But let's say we desire to experience a pure state of consciousness, a presence that can emit light and upgrade other people. Of course, those desires don't have to be so like highly spiritual at all. But it's about like mastering that astral body so it's not pulling us whichever way. The astral body is those emotions, passions, desires. It's like where we normally get lost. This is where we practice in our dream state. We are practicing to master our astral bodies. So then in that awakened state, when we are during the day normally operating, we are able to discern, we are able to develop strong willpower, and we are able to elevate our desires. So they are not just those simple desires pleasing ourselves, but it's something higher, it serves a higher good. And so this is like what we are now collectively doing. And as a result, there is a new type of humans being born. And I'm quite sure that many of them are on my YouTube channel. Like, you have open psychic powers. Like, I see it like people I work with. Like, it's just incredible, the places we are able to go, the things we are able to see and experience. It's mind-blowing. It's like, I don't know, this is like where I experience the biggest gratitude, working with people and like seeing how they are developing, how they are accessing different memories, how they are choosing to use their psychic powers. And we are the, I don't know, great parents or great parents to those future generations. We are seeding new consciousness, new energy, so that for the future generations it will become even easier. The last example I want to give you is when you think of the pineal gland. It used to be in the etheric body. So the etheric body is just the next layer next to the physical body. That's what we mostly had in that Lemurian time. And so the pineal gland was outside of the physical body. It was like in a space in front of us. But as we became more materialistic, like we went deeper into the density, that pineal gland became a part of the physical body. So all the chakras, everything else we have within ourselves used to exist in a higher form. And so when we look at it, we may just think, oh, it's some organ in the body, random organ. Well, it's not. It used to serve a purpose. Everything serves a purpose. So that was the last thing I wanted to mention. I hope that you have enjoyed this video, and if you did, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel and spread this message and share and like my videos. I appreciate you very much. Thank you and see you next time.